This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the CEO of Dolly, Varden Silver, Mr. Shawn Khunkhun. Shawn, how are you? It's been a bit. Great to have you back on.
Gerardo, excited to be here, my friend. The precious metals market has woken up, and I'm so glad that you've got me on.
Well, listen, let's start with the precious metals market. The last time you and I spoke publicly was in July. You had commenced diamond drilling on your silver deposit, that growing silver deposit. The drilling was designed to upgrade the silver deposit. How is that coming along? This was back in early July. I know the labs have been slightly delayed, but I had to reach out today because with the silver price being where it is, with the takeout of Pretium here recently, the offer that was made to the tune of $3.5 billion, there's a lot of activity, and I think we finally have some tailwinds in the precious metals market. And I think Dolly Varden, frankly, is positioned perfectly. So I thought it an opportune time to reach out and just see where things were.
Yeah, on that front, Gerardo, first of all, that takeover, it's great for the industry, it's great for the sector, but it happened in our backyard. And not only did it happen in our backyard, but our project is set in the same rocks as the Brucejack mine. And our scientists that are unlocking our deposit, have worked on all the mines up in the area, including Brucejack. So, when I came into Dolly, it's been almost a year and a half now. My goal here was to capitalize the company, to enhance the treasury. So I raised $26 million accretively, the last financing being at $1 a share, trying to do it in the most non-dilutive way for our shareholders. And the second part of that is the 10,000 meters of drilling we did last year, the 10,000 meters that we're about to report from the 2021 drill program. I feel very confident, based on last year's results, which are all public, that we've enhanced the deposit, we've grown the deposit, we've expanded Torbrit, which, just to remind your viewers, is we've got 44 million ounces of high-grade silver at 300 grams per ton. So as we report the 10,000 meters we just finished from this season, I think it's going to further give us confidence, further expand. I think we've got a tremendous growing deposit here. So my big picture goal here, Gerardo, it was to, number one, bring us the capital to unlock the potential. But the second thing I've done in the last 6 months is I've come out and I've said we're on a quest for 100 million ounces of high-grade silver in the Golden Triangle. I've never felt more confident that not only are we going to get to that number, but we're going to exceed that number. And I look around at the opportunities regionally, the opportunities within our deposit. And if, we just launched a new Verify deck on our website. So I encourage investors, they could see the expansion potential. They could see where the 2021 drill holes are, where the infill holes are at, where the expansion holes are. So it really brings the opportunity to life, but more importantly, it articulates, the 1 to 2 kilometers in between some of the mines that we have on the property.
I think it's important to remind everyone that the last time you reported results back in February of this year, you were hitting 45.82 meters, averaging 304 grams per ton silver, right? You mentioned the resource, you mentioned the grade. Both are spectacular. 100 million ounces, of course, is a phenomenal number to get to. To hear you say that you think you can exceed that puts a smile on my face, as we like telling stories, obviously, that have substantial upside. And if we get the silver market that I think we're in for, I think it's going to be a spectacular end to the year and a phenomenal 2022. With that being said, you just added to your technical team with the addition of Mr. Andrew Hamilton. Can you speak to his background a bit?
Well, listen, Andrew has been a part of companies that have not only put millions of ounces of gold and other metals he's been involved in, copper, but not only has he built up big resources, but they've had the corporate success where they've had the large takeovers, the hundreds of millions of dollars of takeovers. We're bringing Andrew in strategically at this time because we're about to move into a stage of exploration and development that's going to require that very skill set to take our company to the next level. So listen, we've got a tremendous technical team. We've got from at the board level to the advisory level to management and to boots on the ground, like from A to Z, we've got a great team. But Andrew brings us that key piece of the puzzle that I think that we need going into this next phase of development, when we've got this rich ore body that you articulated with the last results. But if you look at the ore body, it's wide, it goes to surface, but there's a tremendous room for growth and expansion, and he can design the drill programs to build up the resource estimate, to hopefully do one of two things, which would be put us in a place where we develop this mine or to prompt a takeover bid.
Those 10,000 meters were split, if I recall correctly, 50-50 between infill and expansion. When do you anticipate the assays to start trickling in, Shawn?
We tweaked the program a little bit. We probably went closer to 65% expansion. Based on the success we had last year and based on some visuals, we decided to just allocate a little bit more meters around that expansion drilling. I would suspect that, again, I don't control the assay labs. It's a third party. So I want to be very careful in my guidance, because it's something where, delays are just a part of the business when you're dealing with the amount of volume that these labs experience, especially in a seasonal part of the world like the Golden Triangle. But I would suspect that, we can't be more than a couple of weeks away from starting to report. But the exciting part is, we should be continuing to report, going into the end of Q4 and into early Q1 of next year.
Shawn, you're not only CEO of Dolly, Varden, Silver, but like me, you're an active investor in the space. You have skin in the game. I can't let you go, given the precious metal setup that we have right now, without asking you for some companies that you like out there that maybe you're involved with or aren't involved with, but you think are good speculations.
Well, I'm a big fan of the work Arturo Bonilla is doing at the San Francisco mine. So this is Magna. I can't stress enough, when a company goes from an idea, Arturo shared, he shared a vision with me when I first met him 2 years ago, and he said, listen, he goes, I'm going to, win Magna. We're going to get 200,000 ounces of production. We're going to put 5 million ounces of gold in the ground. And for him to get a big part of the way there with San Francisco in really less than 2 years is a feat that I've never seen. But more importantly, more impressively, he did it, and he's only got 89 million shares issued and outstanding. So with let's call it 90 million shares issued, and with production guidance of 60 to 65,000 ounces this year, but he left Q3 at a run rate of 80,000 ounces, and I think he'll get to a place where he leaves Q4 at 90,000 ounces. Like, the amount of cash that Magna's going to spit out, I've never in my career seen an opportunity that cheap. So MGR Magna is, I'm a huge fan. I've got an exploration company up in the Golden Triangle Strike Point that has drilled about 5,000 meters. It's exciting because, unlike Magna, it's got that, exponential potential because it's a 16-cent stock, right? So you make a discovery and you can move the decimal point one to the right. So I'm biased there because I am on the board, and I do I do run the company. The other name that comes to mind is, and it's the last one I'll mention because I don't want to monopolize the time here, but my friend and colleague Rob McLeod, who's CEO of Black Wolf Copper and Gold. You've got a situation there. You've got a $21 million market cap, and you've got an asset in Niblack that underpins the value of the company. Plus, you have exploration potential in the Hyder projects. And Rob has proven over the years, whether it's as a director of Lithium X, whether it was VP X for Underworld, whether it was CEO of IDM. Rob has got a history of M&A transactions. He's got a history of discovery. He's, I don't know an individual in the industry that does more, gives back more to the communities, whether it's the Association of Mineral Exploration in BC, or it's empowering and working together with nations like the Nisga'a, our First Nations partners up in Northwest BC. So he's a great human being. He's a creative geologist. And so, those are a couple of names, but there's many others. Like in this environment, with companies trading, mining companies, trading where they are in relation to the prices of these commodities. There's probably never been a time in history where, on a relative basis to the metal prices, mining equities have been this undervalued. So. It's an exciting time. And then, Gerardo, you think about some of the numbers we saw this week: 6.2% CPI. We're a 30-year high in the inflation numbers that they're reporting, and that's after all the financial tweaking and engineering that goes into that headline number. You and I probably both know, when we go out to the grocery store or we go to the gas station, or we just we're living our lives, that inflation is really running in the double digits, and has been for a while and will continue to. So how do you protect yourself? I think that mining stocks are the way to go right now, especially relative to all these other asset classes like the NASDAQ, like real estate, like crypto. This is a great safe place to be.
I couldn't agree more with everything you just said. Open invitation for Rob to come on the show, and happy to have a conversation with him about the team and the project. I can tell you from past experience with Underworld, I made money. With Lithium X, Nick Hodge got subscribers, and I think he helped finance that very early. And I know they made well over 1,000% gains on that deal there. So. And then Arturo Bonillas, I call him the Michael Jordan of exploration and mining, because when we met 2 years ago, he shared that idea, and I wrote a check at 10 cents. And at that time, he had 5 deposits that he had put into production, and he was going for number 6, right? Number 6 became San Francisco. Michael Jordan, of course, became, a 6-time champion, and I'm a Chicago kid. So there that is. So anyhow, Shawn, it's great to have you on. I'm looking forward to having you back on, hopefully in a couple of weeks with those assays coming in, and hopefully with silver, at 26, 27 and headed to 30.
Yeah, no, Gerardo, I'm a big fan of the work you and your partners are doing, and thank you so much for having me on.
I appreciate your time. Thank you, Shawn.
Okay, all the best.